but they take this little Weeble Wobble character in, and they're like, "What's the stuff that's grown on it? We just put it in there yesterday." And the guy analyzes it, and it's one of the guys they work with, and the guy's like, "You're fucking with me. It takes 3 months for this kind of material to grow on this thing." I'm explaining it poorly, but yeah, they essentially accidentally create time travel, and then they go through time, and of course they do what everyone does, like, I'm going to play the stock market, I'm going to do things like that, but it gets really weird and abstract because they're going through time, other people are going through time, and they're also in this movie, the mechanism of time travel is you go forward in time, you do things, and then you go back and you essentially cancel yourself out and end up in the time stream again, but you're always creating a new timeline each time you do that. And so the people in the movie, as it progresses, start acting progressively more and more strange, which is part of the movie, and it's just filmed that way. You got to do the research to figure out why.
And there's also stuff where like you'll hear audio, and it's like audio logs that they recorded and they're listening to because,
They're making recordings for themselves.
yeah, because like they'll get there in the past and like, or no, when did they? Yeah, they leave recordings for themselves. But also, one of the reasons these recordings is because the more they go through time, the less they can like write legible English anymore.
Yeah.
Like that's like a weird side effect that just seems interesting. Like there's no purpose why that would affect anything, but it seems like, oh, that'd be a kind of an easily identifiable frightening concept.
Well, that's what points you to the fact that they're canceling themselves out because they're losing the ability as they move forward through time and keep erasing themselves and resetting themselves as they time travel. That's why their handwriting changes, because they're essentially just being replaced all the time with a new version of themselves from the past.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they start breaking down in a lot of ways. It's not detailed in the film. It's more like you got to read into it. But if you listen to Shane Carruth's commentary, because there's like 4 commentary tracks on the DVD, and he explains a lot of this stuff. And there's a whole flow chart about how the time travel works, and it's really actually very complicated, but it essentially just keeps moving in tighter and tighter circles until you're...
It's a Fibonacci spiral.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, it's a movie that we could make.
Oh,
But wildly fascinating just for like, especially in that way. It's like, oh, here's a movie done very cheaply but very well, and kind of high concept like sci-fi that's but just done very cheaply
And super low key.
yeah.
There's no the only action scene in this movie, you don't even know it's action when they're at the party until it's over. So yeah, there's a lot of things in this. It's written by a very smart man who knows how. It's like, how can I make a movie for $50,000? This is how. It's all dialogue, and we're gonna film in storage spaces and where universities let us, and we're just gonna guerrilla film some of this, but it's all put together really well.
well, that's good. I mean,
Because like their time machine is like built inside of a storage container, and it's basically just a tent with some oxygen tanks on it.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that because I mean it's all about imagination because that's what if your film's really good enough, like, yeah, you kind of always need a prop. It can't just be like, we're gonna go into the time machine and you go off screen, then there's a flashlight, then you go into the future, past, or whatever. Like that can work too, but usually I have like a nice visual prop to go off of. So I mean, as long as they made it look halfway decent, as long as it's not like Doctor Who robots from like 1970s. Where
No,
it's trash cans
they
with
don't
lasers on
overreach
top.
the sci-fi elements. It's like all practical stuff, and then like they just tell you what it is, and you just believe it.
It's almost purely a dialogue-driven movie, and it's not. One of the things that's charming about it is all these guys are super smart engineers, but they're not necessarily any of them good actors. But they do a good job of coming across as very straightforward, super smart engineer guys who are going to blandly explain and deliver dialogue to you about what's going on. And so you just want to believe it because it's like, oh, that's these characters. So that's part of the genius of the film is like, yeah, none of these guys are great actors, but they're conveying
They're
long scenes of dialogue in a believable way for their characters.
yeah, being that like they're sort of bland engineers, they're not going to be overly expressive about, oh, we discovered time travel. They're just like, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, there's no philosophy like we're gonna vigorously debate like the meaning of this. It's like, how can we exploit this? Need benefit. And yeah, and how can I drug the guy's milk so he passes out and then I hide him in the roof? And I mean, you got to watch the movie. It's dense and weird and fun. Because I remember when I was introduced to it and I first watched it, I was like, well, that's kind of weird. And then, of course, using the internet, which is essential to watch this movie, and I got into it. And then I watched the movie again and again and again. And I'm like, oh, wow, there is some actual... This is not the Verhoeven effect. This is actually a movie this complicated. Written by a guy who, you know, he kind of, what do you say that? He walks the walk. Like, there's a lot of shit he doesn't want it. Because he got offered big things after this movie. And he was like, no, I don't want to do shit like that. I want to do these super dense, complicated stories that only a few people will get for whatever reason. But yeah, Primer, watch it. We did a whole podcast about it once.
Yeah.
And I had all the flow charts and diagrams.
It's usually on a streaming service somewhere. So.
Yeah. It's almost not interesting to talk about, but amazing to watch if you really buy into it and do all the research. Then it's like, oh, this is a great movie. But it's not a movie you could just recommend to any swing.
If somebody walked in and saw you watching it, they'd just be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's porn. It's about to get interesting in about 30 minutes.
His wife's going to take her clothes off or stare at the camera weirdly, and then we're going to do a cut scene for no reason. We're going to be in a car talking. But, yeah.
And speaking of movies other people haven't watched, have you made any progress on the pile of movies that I have given you over?
Oh, fuck no. You know the ones I have, so
no, I know. I'm just saying because I know you've been trying to work on it, but I know it's always.
I should probably give you Seven Samurai back, being that we watched that thing.
Yeah,
and I would like to see the extras for Stalker, but like I've seen Stalker before.
Yeah.
Which Stalker do you have?
Criterion Collection.
The new one or the old one?
Oh, I didn't know there was a difference. I'm guessing the new one.
Is it on Blu-ray or DVD?
Blu-ray. It's the older one. It's the 1970s Stalker.
No, he means like newer.
Oh,
as in, like
yeah, it's Blu-ray Criterion.
Show me the cover. I'll tell you.
It should be.
It's another one of those movies like, watch Stalker. Yes, that's the one. That's the great one. Watch the commentaries on that. It's amazing.
And I got it for cheap.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's half-price book, so it was a lot cheaper than it would have been otherwise.
I don't know if this is yours or mine.
Which one is it? Oh, that's mine.
Okay.
It's Criterion and Benjamin Button.
Because we already have this.
Oh.
I believe. I probably don't need Willow. Yeah, I don't need Willow.
Okay.
I've seen Willow like 8 times.
Oh, I know, but it recently came out on Blu-ray, so it's re-released and shit, so that's the only reason. I figured maybe they might have some special features on here or some shit that...
See, I don't have that Stalker DVD because I wasn't willing to pay the price they want for it. I just go check it out at the library. So. You're lucky that you actually have that. I would like to have that.
It's because all the illiterate monsters around here don't like Criterion Collections, so they just put them at half-price books for like $20 a pop. Except for one of them that's like 90, but I think it's like a really limited release one that nobody really got into, I guess. But no, because I just like recently bought Black Sheep on DVD and Star Trek Beyond on Blu-ray, because I'm like, not that I think Star Trek Beyond's like a great movie, I'm like, how the fuck do I not own Star Trek Beyond? Like, I watched it in theaters and fucking, like, it was a decent movie. And somehow, like, otherwise I have all the other new Star Trek movies.
Yeah, I'm all digital now. Even though I like audio commentaries, I wish that would change at some point where that just becomes a digital thing.
I don't know.
Because that's what I liked about the Filmstruck stuff. Is like, oh shit, audio commentaries in a digital package. That was great.
Oh yeah, isn't Filmstruck back now, or is that?
I think at the end of this month.
Oh, end of the month.
Or maybe.
I miss Filmstruck.
But-
That was cool.
But I can't remember what's called now. I think it's just Criterion Collection Playback or something like that.
Oh yeah, because Filmstruck probably got sold with everything else.
Yeah, because they don't own that name.
Yeah, I mean, use your library. That's what I do. If I want a DVD with commentary, I just go down to the library and get it.
Yeah.
Because like that's like with that Stalker DVD. Like they have that at my library. I'm not willing to pay $50 for that, but I'll get it from the library and watch it at home.
I got a couple of Criterion stuff from the library that I don't even like sell anymore. I think that's why I saw the Dead Ringers Criterion Collection. It was from the library. It's also where I got Crash, the Cronenberg one, was from the library. It's like, oh, here's a movie. It's like, and I think that's like a hard to find movie, but like the library had it for some reason.
Yeah, there's this what would you say, this whole library, I think it's all the libraries in the US. There's like film literati people that must order the DVDs for the libraries. Like they must just pay some group like, we're gonna get all these DVDs, and because they have some really weird stuff at my library for Criterion Blu-ray you can just check out.
Yeah.
It's all pretty good stuff. It's stuff I like, but you wouldn't think anyone else would like it. But then they're like 3 deep on the, like, oh, you're on the waiting list for that one. It's like, really? Who's heard of that movie?
Well, I think if I went to the public library around here, like all the Adam Sandler comedies would be out of stock all the time. But like, I don't think any like big mind fuck movie or like a deep artistic picture would be out of stock. It'd just be set on the shelf for a year before anybody checked it out.
Well, I live outside of Ann Arbor too, so there's there's that. There's a lot of really, really, really smart people that live around here. They're like, oh, I know about that. I've had phone conversations with people that last 5 hours, and they're talking about movie. Like I just got my phone out, like writing down information. Like, what is this? And why should I watch it? And who are you? And why do you live under the bridge? You have a PhD in film studies? Oh, that's why you live under the bridge. Okay. He will tell you things about Lord of the Rings that you
recorded at all times. I'm like, really? Like, what the fuck? Why is this a thing?
What kind of Google metadata bullshit is that?
And I'm just like, well, honey, I'm just gonna go in there giving the finger to everybody the whole time. It's like that way they can't use me in advertising.
I've never seen a sign like that. That's
well, I just thought it was weird because it's like I've never entered a building before and given up so many rights at the same time. It's like
that's
why?
a theater?
Yeah, it's a theater. It's where I went to go see Shazam today. It's the nicest theater in town, and it's just a sign. Either I don't know if it's been up for a while now, or they just put it.
Well, like, I don't even know like how they'd use it other than like it's like an advertisement. They just want to like show a full lobby, but you know when that shit happens, you know it's happening, and it's shot by like a commercial company.
I know, but I found it weird. More like you're recorded at all times. I'm like, well, apparently it's security cameras because otherwise. There's no like film crews.
If we
or, like,
find something cool
cameras.
to put on YouTube, that shit's ours.
And it's just kind of like, wow, this is really disturbing. Maybe I'll start going to the other movie theater in town because at least nobody will sell my likeness.
There was a weird thing at the like when Captain Marvel came out. There was like 80 showings. I just go there because it's convenient. It's like literally 8 minutes away, but the problem is like their showing times are never like in my favor.
Yeah.
It's like if I want like a convenient time, I have to go to the Marcus Theater, and that's a half-hour drive away. So that's basically not a convenient time.
Well, plus Marcus Theater starts showing shit at like 9 o'clock in the morning to like fucking 1 o'clock at night. Whereas Winsong's like, nope, like 12:30.
Yeah,
and we stop showing by like 7 o'clock at night.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it's like, wow, you guys are really fucking limiting yourselves here. Like the West Side's supposed to be the one that's actually going under a resurgence as far as like popularity and people moving over here. So it's kind of weird that this is still the dead part of town. Yeah. Anyway, come to Cedar Rapids. It's vibrant. I went to Nubo to Fong's Pizza the other night, and me and my wife were both remarking how it's supposed to be our tourism center and our tourism capital now, and how it's supposed to draw people to the area. There's no goddamn shop that's open past 5 or 6 o'clock at night on a Friday. It's not open past 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. But you're supposed to go down there and spend hours and just spend your whole weekend at Nubo.
Well, Nubo's only open like 3 days a week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yeah.
And like other than that, there's like free concerts and shit in the summertime outside. But like one of the restaurants is a dumpster fire now, and then the other two are okay but overpacked, and then that's it. Unless you want ice cream and popcorn and craft soda.
I don't
That's the
like
only store that's
what they're
open.
doing is like that's pretty commonly how they do it, like all over, like because like Ann Arbor has same thing kind of things, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like here's a market that like meets 3 times a week and this large area, and it's always like a bunch of weird eccentric people running it.
Yeah,
has
it's just,
weird times.
it's like, do you want a steampunk rotary dial phone or a TV from the 1950s? We restore them, and we're open from 1 p.m. to 3 on every other day. It's like, yeah, fuck you. You're just wasting everyone's time. Well, this weekend we what did we have? Because I know I went down to the model cave for my usual 5-hour hangout and talk, and the whole downtown Ypsilanti, because Ypsi's like the redheaded stepchild of Ann Arbor. It's like the rougher, meaner, but we're still a bunch of hippies place, and the whole downtown area reeked of pot. Because Ann Arbor this weekend had the Hash Bash. Which, weirdly enough, we had our state representative and both of our senators there smoking weed, celebrating that pot's legal in Michigan now in Ann Arbor. But Ypsi had their own variant of it, and I couldn't find any place to park, and the whole downtown area reeked of dope. And it's like, oh, they're having some kind of pot thing. I just want to hang out and drink coffee. But yeah, they do all that stupid shit, that all that gentrification shit that it's like we have 3 craft beers made from the tears of Adolf Hitler. And I don't want to.
Oh,
Well, we have like some of the vendors down there. That's like the only place you. Well, I guess it's more popular now to get grass-fed beef, but you can get like everything, like grass-fed T-bone steaks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but like I'll get emails from the company. It's like our truck is going to this area this week.
and yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Either this is gonna destroy his career, or this is gonna be the best film ever. I don't know. These people aren't at work, but we have like a $4,000 every month rent we have to make. It's like,
Well, I don't. Ipsy, I understand because it's like there's weird curio knickknack shops, and like you can go down there and find some amazing stuff. That's how I found the model store, and it launched this whole odyssey into model building. But yeah, there's places like half the stuff in this room behind me is from like knickknack shops in downtown Atlantic. It's like, oh yeah, I want a Victorian lamp with a naked girl painted on it or something. Like, I can understand that. The things that drive me nuts in Ann Arbor are the things where it's like, again, it's like the 1950s TV store. It's like, how are you? Who's buying this, for one thing? I mean, where they had the one that was like open backed and you could see all the vacuum tubes and the wires, and you could put this in your house. It's like, that's cool. How much does that cost? It's $4,000. No, it's never going to happen. That's a complete waste of money. And then you have all these real particular shops that are just weird, and if you go in there and you're sort of like, yeah, I like this stuff, but it's overpriced. It's they almost get mad at you for saying that. Like, well, you don't understand. It's like, yeah, I absolutely understand. It's a waste of money and time. It's
I think because like those college towns, because there's always a lot of money in a college town, especially like when you have like a university hospital. Because there's like you go down to downtown Iowa City and there's people driving around in fucking like those Audi supercar hybrids.
yeah.
And it's just some doctor, you know, whatever he's got around. And so like these real specialty shops, if they're around for more than like 6 months, then they must have a clientele that is willing to pay for this shit. But it's just a very limited clientele that somehow supports them.
Yeah, it's what do I call it?
Either that or it's just some illegal front for something.
Well, yeah, that
like
too.
the Nassif rug store that's been there for like 30 years.
There's a name I had for it's like the dregs of gentrification or something. like if you have the, I like 50s robots store, and it's a 5,000 square foot store frontage that costs around here $6,000 or $7,000 a month, and they have like Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet, or they build things kind of like that. It's like, oh, that's just pretentious and stupid. That's not going to last. And when it's there for 20 years, you're like, what the fuck's going on? I mean, we have a hardware store in Ann Arbor, downtown Ann Arbor, where the challenge is like, find something we don't have. It's like, oh, do you have scrolled brass hinges from the 1920s that I can? Yeah, we have 10 sets of them here. They have all kinds of stuff like that down there, and it's just like what you said, Conlon. It's just a bunch of people from the university and mainly from the hospital that are just that are supporting this weird business. Like, it's calling the wife like, honey, they got our hinges, but they're like $8,000. Oh, get 4 sets. And meanwhile, normal people can't afford health insurance, and we wonder why. It's like, oh, it's the brass hinges from the 1920s.
And then for the What We Do in the Shadows, I looked it up. It's not the actors. I guess because I always was sideway glancing while I was on break at work. I saw the promotion. I must have just assumed it was him, but it's not.
No, because I think he's got some other project he's doing right now.
Yeah, that's why I was like surprised. Like, oh, they got him for the show. I thought he'd be doing other things. But also, like, usually FX shows only shoot like 10 episodes, so you can, do 2 other series and 3 other movies that year.
Well, it's just something where I would be surprised if he was in it, because I'm assuming it'd be way over budget for what they can afford. Probably. So, but no, I like how all the clothing shops at Nubo, like Raygun, and there's like 2 other like dress shops and just like kind of vintage clothing type things. If you're like over like 20 and not skinny, there's no reason to go in any of those. There's like 3. It's like you're in like fucking central Iowa, where 90% of people are pretty much fat or overweight. And yeah, there's skinny young people, but not enough to support a shop, especially when they're like, oh, we want $80 for this rag top that's been sitting around for 30 years and nobody's washed.
Watching that Ring of Honor show, the immediate thing that stands out is, so they have the hard cam, which is like, sort of like the cam that they usually cut to when the action's going on. That's usually the cam that the wrestlers will play to.
Yeah. And
right off in the corner is this guy that's got to weigh like 600 pounds in a giant blue shirt. It's like, yep, that's a wrestling fan.
Well, yeah. It's like I was looking for, what was it? Oh, I've been listening to a lot of Ministry lately. Back to my high school days of, I loved Ministry. And I was like, I got to get a Ministry shirt just to wear to work, or a hoodie or something, just to see who knows what the hell's going on. And it's like the biggest size available is like 2X. I'm like, oh, come on. You've only got kid sizes? I mean, I can go to those, what do they call that? Purchase on demand places.
Oh.
They have my sizes, but it all looks like shit. It's like, no, I want the original Ministry. The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste t-shirt. It's available in 2X. It's like, whoa, 2X. But yeah, I know what you're saying. We have a lot of those shops down around here that like, oh, we have all these cool t-shirts and clothes, and like, ooh, look, a steampunk leather duster, which I would buy because I'm that guy. But it's like, yeah, you put it on, it's like it's made to fit a toddler. It's like, no adult human in North America in 2019 weighs 140 pounds unless they have a medical condition.
There's like Abby from Giant Bomb. She's like always talking about, she basically buys like children's clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's what fits her. But like, she loves it when she goes to Japan, because that's basically like every clothing shop there. It's like, oh, this is for me. I can buy a men's large and it'll fit me snugly.
Almost too tight. No, I don't. I topped out. I'm at the JCPenney, which I hear they're going out of business. So I don't know where I'm going to go for clothes, but I'm JCPenney big and tall.
Yeah.
And the next step for me is going to be like, man Zeppelin clothes. Because I won't buy casual male big and tall anymore because they don't honor coupons. It's like you'll bring in coupons for shit. It's like, oh, we don't take those. It's like, so this T-shirt's $75. So, you're an asshole. But yeah, or I could lose weight, but that's never going to happen.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's just I wish people were more. Yes, people should be healthier and probably a little bit slimmer, but at the same time, fucking hell, it's like if people are going to be fat, at least provide clothing that's adequate for them, not make them wear.
Or maybe they're selling to their clientele. They know who's going to buy their shit, and that's their body type.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it's like I told my doctor 2 months ago, because now I'm getting to the age where I got to get my asshole checked. He was talking about my weight or whatever. It's like, hey, dude, I quit smoking, and I've lost like 30 pounds in the last 6 months. I've actually lost 30 pounds. I'm still way over 300 pounds, but I've lost 30 pounds in the last 3 months. Can I get a high five for that? Or, what am I supposed to do? Work out 20 hours a day and work? Yeah, I get tired of that shit. I don't have... I don't have Joe Rogan's drive. That's the guy who's like, I like to run 10 miles a day. Do you? Good for you.
I was reading this one book recently. I was trying to get motivated to get back into fitness and everything. And there's like this one part in it where the guy was like, it's like when you work out, like your body just wants it. I'm like, fuck you, it does.
Yeah, when I eat pizza, my body wants it. My body doesn't want me to work out.
Well, I mean, when I did run like 5 miles a day and walked everywhere, like it did feel good after in some parts during working out, but no, it's not like I wake up and like, I need to fucking run now. I need to lift weights
pump
now.
some iron. It's the only way I can live. Like, no, it's like, I just want to lay here and watch some TV. Maybe a hot dog slides into the microwave and I just slobber.
Yeah, I've never got that. I know a lot of people like to make fun of Orson Welles at the end of his life, but it's like, I totally get that. I know where that guy is because I'm there. But yeah, I mean, what, you've gotten out of fitness?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm like 60 pounds overweight right now.
Oh, I didn't know.
It doesn't show as much in my face, but
to me, you're like a scarecrow. It's like, oh, Colin's like super thin.
I still have the biggest man tits in this house, but at the same time, no, I don't know.
But yeah, I need to drop like 60 pounds. I've just been having a lot of nagging, like back issues, which I've never had before, and like knee issues.
Oh.
So I was like getting into yoga for a little bit there. So now I'm like, it's not really a problem right now. It's not like I don't have to be concerned about it, but it all just stems from weight. So.
Well, I mean, if it's a knee issue, like compression sleeve helps me, like if my knee's kind of like acting up and being weird. But I mean, back, do you do like floor stretches and stuff for your back to try and like get it kind of more stretched out and limber?
Yeah, but it's just it was just how I was lifting stuff at work, where I was basically like leaning over things and lifting up things that weigh like 60 pounds.
Well, the way to make it productive and not just take forever to lift like 5 boxes. Because it's funny.
Or lifting like 3 boxes at once.
Well, it's funny because it's between like me working at Reinhardt or you working in the freezer and shit at Walmart and stuff where it's like, yeah, it's funny how they tell you to lift properly, but as soon as you do that, they're like, what's taking so long? It's like, well, sir, I can't square my shoulders and back and lift with my legs with this, 200-pound weight or 200 pounds worth of shit, and do it in like 5 seconds. Sorry, I kind of just have to bend over real quick, grab a bunch of shit, pile it on something, and just keep doing that till the job's done. Then they're like, okay, that's good. Oh, you hurt yourself. Why would you think that happened? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, this is why I drive forklifts. But I
Or-
get questions though too about like why do you need 2 forklifts to do your job? It's like, well, because 3 aren't available. I mean, do you want to? Because I always ask people, it's like, watch me work. If you think I'm doing it wrong, because now I've been allocated between me and the other guy I work with, I've been allocated 3 forklifts to do my job in a normal day of work. And there's a lot because a forklift is $75,000 to for a new unit, and there's been questions asked about why does it take you 3 forklifts and none of the other people on the other shifts, like because they don't do their fucking job. 'Cause I got to come in and do their job and my job. Is that really fair of you to say? Yeah, and it's provable. Come watch me work. See, that's the thing. I get these questions, and then when I'm like, come watch me work, idea, I'm all ears. Tell me what I need to do. I never get any feedback. I just get that forklift every day, which is bankrupting the company. Like the chairman's going to call me someday, like, Nathan, you're killing us here. Come watch me work. I never get feedback I never get a follow up on that. They're not used to that. They're not because they hear a lot of.
Fuck, he's right. Well, should we give him feedback? No, then we have to admit we're wrong.
Don't tell him, because my answer is always come watch me work. That's like my new go-to. In the last 6 months, that's my phrase. Come watch me work. I'm not afraid. You can watch me work. And I never get a follow-up on that. It used to be like arguments, or we can talk about this, or let's debate, the labor contract or our agreements. I don't even get that anymore. It's like, come watch me work. I never hear anything back, and I just get what I want. But yet I still get this kind of weird nascent feedback. It's like, it's costing us a lot of money to have you have all this extra equipment. Okay, come watch me work. Tell me where I'm doing it wrong. Nah, for some reason that never happens. Because there's no like golf outings or free donuts or coffee involved in come watch me work. I'm not enticing people enough. Maybe I should just bring in a pack of Tim Hortons and stuff. It's like, come watch me work all day and tell me how fucked up it's like, it's not I'm not looking for acclamation or praise. It's just, I want to be left alone. It's like, what's your goal every day when you come to work at, said auto company? To get paid?
To leave.
Yeah, exactly.
You never complain about your job or anything related to it except equipment issues. Why is that? Because it pays my mortgage. It's like, why do you take on these jobs? It's because the 10.5 hours I have to be here 4 days a week passes very quickly. They're expecting a different answer. It's like, oh, because I love it. It defines me as a person. And when you don't say those things, they get scared. It's like, what does he really want?
A paycheck, which he said 5 times already.
Yeah, is he gonna kill us?
That seems so impersonal, Nate.
Yeah. Do you hate people? Well, actually, since you've asked, yes, but
No, it just always seems weird, like you said, where somebody asks you a question, you give them a straightforward, honest answer, then they act weird because you didn't bullshit and kiss their ass while you said it.
Well, no, you didn't enter into like their pre-programmed responses.
Well, I know, but it's all the pre-programmed responses they're expecting, untruthful answers, where it's like, I just really love this company and I want to do a great job for it. So
never say that.
It's like nobody that actually says that, for maybe a small percentage. Is
And if they do say that, suspect that person with all screwed.
Like,
Yeah, there's always some hidden agenda behind that answer.
And it's like, that's exactly, we had our fucking quarterly update this Wednesday, and they kept reiterating it was a 45-minute meeting with some videos, but like every 5 minutes when somebody was talking, oh, don't worry, the company's doing fine, it's doing doing better than ever, doing fine. And it's like, I would be less distressed if you only said that once. Instead
That's
of like,
how you know you're fucked.
Instead of like,
right, it's like time to update the resume.
And then it's just like, oh, we predict since we do paper cartons and stuff, because plastic's so out right now, we're gonna do such booming business and stuff like that. It's like, oh, we got 12 machines on the docket for the year, and I'm looking at somebody else, and it's like, we just hired 2 new guys in assembly, and the 3 guys, we don't have the labor pool in this state to keep up and, staff up and train everybody. It was like, well, we're going to do our best.